Calling APIs from the UI. The front end, or UI, doesn't store all the data itself. Instead, it calls APIs whenever it needs information. For example, to a weather app, when a user selects a city, the UI calls the weather API and gets live data. A banking app, the UI calls the backend to fetch the account balance. Here's a simple analogy: the UI is like a mobile phone screen, and the API is the telecom line. When you press a number, that's the request, the network connects you and delivers a voice back, that's the response. So every click, every form submission, every page load usually involves an API call happening in the background. GET vs POST calls. There are many HTTP methods, but the two most important for UI developers are GET and POST. GET request, purpose fetch data. Data is sent as part of the URL. This will return the details of student 101 without changing anything in the backend. POST request, purpose send data to the backend, usually to create a new record. Data is sent in the request body, not in the URL. Example, post https://api.school.com/students. The backend responds with the new record. Tip: as a UI developer, you'll mostly deal with GET and POST, while put and delete are also used but less frequently. Other HTTP methods. Besides GET and POST, there are two other common methods: put updates an existing record. Example, put API students 101 could update student 101's marks. Delete removes a record. Example, delete API students 101 delete student 101's record. Together, GET, POST, put, and delete cover the four main actions in CRUD operations: create, read, update, delete. That's why they're called the core building blocks of working with APIs. Error handling in API calls. Now, here's the important part: APIs don't always work perfectly. Things can go wrong, and our UI has to handle failures gracefully. Some common errors include 400 bad request, the input was wrong. For 01 unauthorized, the user isn't logged in. For 04 not found, the requested resource doesn't exist. 500 internal server error, the backend crashed. The key rule for good UI: I never show users a scary technical code. Bad, error 500. Good, the server is temporarily unavailable. Please try again later. Also, never leave the screen blank. Always give feedback to reassure the user. Retries and timeouts. Sometimes errors are temporary, like a weak internet connection. That's why we use retries and timeouts. Retries: if the API call fails, the app automatically tries again. Example, WhatsApp keeps retrying to send a message until the network is restored. Timeouts: API calls shouldn't hang forever. If there's no response after, say, 30 seconds, the request is cancelled and the user sees an error. This avoids endless waiting and improves user experience. So, retries and timeouts make our apps more reliable and user-friendly in the real world. That completes the calling APIs from the UI section.